Welcome to Books and More, where we summarize books and talks about reading. Today we're diving into Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, a personal journal filled with the Stoic insights of a Roman emperor. In this video, we'll explore how Aurelius blends gratitude, duty, and the art of living with resilience, reminding us that true power lies within our thoughts. Join us as we uncover how the reflections on impermanence, virtue, and self-discipline in Meditations can inspire you to live more mindfully and courageously every day. Stay tuned for a journey into one of history's most profound guides on life, leadership, and inner peace. Introduction. Meditations is the private journal of Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor from 161 to 180 CE, who wrestled with the responsibilities of power while seeking guidance from Stoic philosophy. Written originally in Greek for his own self-improvement, the work was never intended for publication. Its pages reveal a mind striving to reconcile imperial duty with the pursuit of inner peace, ethical living, and rational thought. Throughout these reflections, Aurelius consistently reminds himself, and now his readers, of the impermanence of human life, the importance of living in accordance with nature, and the need for continual self-examination. In reading Meditations, one is invited to witness a soul in constant dialogue with itself, a dialogue that is at once humble, candid, and rigorously introspective. Aurelius confronts the vicissitudes of fate and the inherent struggles of existence, yet his reflections never lapse into despair. Instead, they exude a dignified acceptance and an unwavering commitment to the Stoic principles of reason, self-discipline, and virtue. His writings are both practical and poetic, offering concrete advice on how to conduct oneself and, at the same time, probing the deeper questions of purpose and meaning. This summary will guide you through each of the 12 books, highlighting key meditations, notable passages, and recurring themes. From gratitude for early mentors to exhortations on duty and the cosmic order, the summary is structured to mirror the original text's progression and layered insights. In doing so, it captures the essence of Aurelius's contemplative journey, a journey marked by an acute awareness of life's fleeting nature, a persistent striving toward moral excellence, and an abiding belief in the rational structure of the universe. Historical context and background. Marcus Aurelius composed his Meditations during a period of personal and political challenge. As emperor, he was tasked with the heavy burden of governing a vast empire, contending with military conflicts, political intrigues, and the daily pressures of leadership. Yet amid the external tumult, Aurelius turned inward, seeking solace and clarity in the precepts of Stoicism, a philosophy that champions the supremacy of reason and the importance of accepting the natural order of things. Stoicism, as embraced by Aurelius, teaches that one should focus on what lies within one's control, one's own thoughts and actions, and remain indifferent to external events. The Stoic ideal is not to suppress emotion, but to channel it through the lens of rational understanding and ethical action. In this light, Meditations is both a manual for self-governance and a spiritual diary, chronicling the internal battles of a man who knew that true power lies not in the external trappings of authority, but in the disciplined cultivation of the inner life. Aurelius's reflections are permeated by gratitude for the influence of his family, teachers, and friends, and by a sober acceptance of life's impermanence. His writings frequently remind himself that life is transient, that human beings are mere specks in the vast continuum of time, and that every moment is an opportunity to act virtuously. This historical context is essential to understanding Meditations. It is a text born out of a life lived at the intersection of great power and profound personal responsibility, where philosophy was not an abstract concept, but a necessary tool for survival and moral clarity. Third, structure of Meditations. Meditations is organized into 12 books, each of which functions as an independent series of reflections. Although the order and content might seem episodic, together they form a mosaic of thought that traverses personal ethics, metaphysics, and practical advice on how to live well. Each book can be viewed as a chapter in Aurelius's lifelong pursuit of self-improvement. They range from expressions of gratitude to detailed examinations of the self, the nature of the universe, and the importance of duty. Rather than following a linear narrative, the work is more akin to a personal diary, fragmentary, meditative, and free associative. Yet beneath the apparent spontaneity lies a rigorous philosophical method, constant self-questioning, rigorous evaluation of one's judgments, and a commitment to aligning one's actions with the rational order of nature. The structure of Meditations thus reinforces its content, a work that is both deeply personal and broadly philosophical. 4. Detailed book-by-book summary. Book 1, A Foundation of Gratitude and Humility. In the opening book, Marcus Aurelius lays the groundwork for his entire philosophical system by acknowledging the people who influenced him. He writes with a deep sense of gratitude for his family, friends, teachers, and even adversaries who shaped his character. This book is a catalog of virtues learned from others, a meditation on the importance of role models. For instance, he credits his grandfather for instilling a sense of good moral character and his tutors for imparting wisdom and self-restraint. Aurelius reflects on how these early influences taught him to value simplicity, rationality, and honor. He reminds himself that the virtues he possesses are not inherent gifts, but the result of diligent study and emulation of those he admired. This practice of acknowledging one's debt to others is not mere flattery. It is an exercise in humility and a constant reminder that wisdom is a communal inheritance. As he notes in passages that echo, "From my grandfather I learned good morals and the government of my temper," the emperor's self-discipline stems from these early lessons. Moreover, Book 1 establishes the tone of personal accountability and self-improvement that runs throughout the work. Aurelius is aware of his human frailty and sees every encounter as an opportunity to refine his character. In doing so, he exemplifies one of Stoicism's central tenets, that our lives are defined by the virtues we cultivate and the example we set for ourselves and others. Book 2, The Reality of Nature and the Call of Duty. Book 2 shifts focus from personal gratitude to the nature of the world and our place within it. Here, Aurelius meditates on the ephemeral quality of life, urging himself to accept the inevitable flow of change. He reminds himself that every event, whether it appears good or bad, is part of a greater rational order. This perspective is grounded in the Stoic belief in the interconnectedness of all things, where every occurrence has its place in the cosmos. The emperor uses vivid imagery to underscore the transient nature of life. He likens the human existence to a brief spark in the eternal flame of nature. This reflection serves as both a comfort and a call to action. If life is fleeting, then every moment must be lived in accordance with virtue and reason. He stresses that one should not be disturbed by the trivialities of daily life or by the external opinions of others. Instead, the focus must remain on one's inner character and the fulfillment of one's duty. Aurelius also introduces the idea that the mind is the most powerful tool one possesses. By cultivating inner resilience and maintaining clarity in one's thoughts, one can navigate the chaos of the external world. This book encourages a rigorous self-discipline, a way of life that values rationality over passion and emphasizes that true strength comes from within. Book 3, Self-Reflection and the Pursuit of Inner Harmony. In Book 3, Marcus Aurelius turns his attention inward, engaging in a candid examination of his own nature. He stresses the importance of self-reflection and the constant evaluation of one's thoughts and actions. This book is replete with reminders to stay vigilant against the corruption of one's mind by negative influences or baseless desires. Aurelius emphasizes that a clear, rational mind is the foundation of a virtuous life. He insists that one must always be willing to question personal judgments and motives, and to purge oneself of self-deception. In his own words, the practice of self-scrutiny is essential for maintaining moral integrity. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Such reflections underscore the Stoic idea that it is not events themselves, but our interpretation of them, that disturb our peace. This book also deals with the struggle to align one's inner life with the demands of the external world. Marcus Aurelius urges himself to remain unmoved by praise or blame, success or failure. The emphasis is on the steady cultivation of a mind that is both self-aware and unperturbed by the vicissitudes of fortune. In doing so, he reveals a deeply personal commitment to the ideals of Stoic indifference, a detachment that is not cold or indifferent in the everyday sense, but is instead an active choice to prioritize inner virtue over external validation. Book 4. Impermanence and the Nature of Change. Book 4 deepens the meditation on the impermanent nature of life. Aurelius reflects on how all things, fame, wealth, power, are fleeting, urging himself to view each moment as a transient step in the broader flow of time. This chapter is imbued with the realization that nothing is static. Every phenomenon is in a state of constant flux. The text reminds us that the nature of the universe is one of ceaseless transformation. Marcus Aurelius stresses that by accepting change, one can free oneself from unnecessary attachment and suffering. In his meditations, he often compares human life to the natural processes that govern the world, an endless cycle of birth, decay, and renewal. The recognition of life's impermanence is not meant to foster despair, but to galvanize the individual to live meaningfully in the present moment. This book also delves into the idea that life's brevity lends it a unique value. Each moment is precious, precisely because it cannot be reclaimed, so one must dedicate oneself to the pursuit of virtue and the cultivation of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius's reflections here invite the reader to embrace the natural order of things and to see beauty in the constant ebb and flow of existence. Book 5. Rising to the Challenge of Duty. In Book 5, Aurelius confronts the practicalities of daily life, especially the call to duty that accompanies leadership and responsibility. Here, the emperor's meditations transform into a kind of personal pep talk, an exhortation to rise each day and meet life's challenges head-on. He reflects on the inevitability of hardship and the necessity of facing difficulties with courage and resolve. A key message in this book is the idea that one's inner life should be as robust as the outer actions one must perform. Marcus Aurelius insists that true power lies in one's ability to remain steadfast in the face of adversity. The narrative is a reminder that procrastination and self-pity are antithetical to the Stoic ideal of self-discipline. Every morning, he tells himself to cast aside lethargy and engage in his duties with full measure of his strength and attention. The text is rich with imagery of the warrior's spirit, not in a physical sense alone, but as an inner call to action. Duty, for Aurelius, is not merely about fulfilling one's role as emperor. It is about living a life of integrity and purpose. He challenges himself to maintain a mindset of proactive engagement, regardless of external circumstances, asserting that the measure of a person's character is revealed in how they confront life's inevitable obstacles. Book 6. On the Nature of the Self and the Importance of Reason. Book 6 shifts the focus to the inner workings of the self. Marcus Aurelius here ponders the nature of identity, arguing that the true self is defined not by external labels or social roles, but by the quality of one's reason and the discipline of one's mind. He maintains that the mind is the seat of one's character and that cultivating rational thought is paramount to living a virtuous life. Aurelius observes that many people are enslaved by their passions, allowing fleeting emotions to dictate their actions. In contrast, the wise man, guided by reason, is able to detach himself from the tumult of irrational impulses. This detachment is not a withdrawal from life. Rather, it is an active engagement with life that is filtered through clear, logical understanding. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, he writes, urging himself to keep his thoughts pure and aligned with truth. In these passages, the emperor underscores the Stoic belief in the power of the rational mind to transform one's experience of the world. Through constant self-discipline and reflection, one can cultivate a mind that is as resilient as it is clear. This inner clarity, in turn, enables an individual to approach life's challenges with equanimity and a sense of calm purpose. Book 7. Fate, Free Will, and the Cosmic Order. Book 7 is one of the more philosophically expansive sections of Meditations. Here, Marcus Aurelius meditates on the interplay between fate and free will, a central tension in Stoic thought. He considers the idea that while much of life is governed by a vast, interconnected cosmic order, individuals still possess the power to shape their inner responses to external events. Aurelius posits that every event, however random it may seem, is woven into the tapestry of the universe's grand design. This cosmic perspective helps to alleviate the burden of personal suffering by reminding the individual that events occur not as personal attacks, but as necessary elements of the natural order. Yet, within this framework, there remains a crucial role for human agency, the power to choose one's response. In recognizing that the impediment to action advances action, he finds that every obstacle is an opportunity for growth, a chance to exercise virtue and strengthen one's character. The reflections in Book 7 are imbued with a sense of calm acceptance. Rather than rebelling against fate, Marcus Aurelius advocates for a harmonious alignment with it. By embracing both the predetermined nature of external events and the freedom of the internal will, one can live in a state of balanced determination. This nuanced perspective is a cornerstone of Stoic ethics, emphasizing that true freedom comes from mastering one's inner life, regardless of the external chaos. Book 8, Virtue as the Sole True Good. In Book 8, Aurelius turns to the nature of virtue itself and its primacy over material wealth, fame, or power. He reflects on the idea that external goods are ultimately irrelevant to the cultivation of a moral life. Instead, the only true good is the exercise of one's inner virtue, a steady, unwavering commitment to living in accordance with nature and reason. Throughout this book, Marcus Aurelius dissects common human desires and the pitfalls of allowing one's happiness to depend on transient external factors. He argues that virtues such as wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice are the only lasting rewards. In his contemplations, he repeatedly stresses that external circumstances, whether fortune's favor or misfortune's blow, should not disturb the inner peace of a virtuous soul. In doing so, he challenges the reader to redefine success and fulfillment, not by the standards of society, but by the measure of one's internal moral state. A recurring theme in Book 8 is the idea that a life of virtue is self-sufficient. By cultivating a disciplined mind and living with integrity, one becomes immune to the vicissitudes of fate. This self-sufficiency is not isolation, but a deep, active engagement with the world that is guided by principles rather than by the ephemeral nature of external appearances. Book 9, The Transitory Nature of Human Existence. Book 9 deepens the meditation on impermanence and the ephemeral quality of life. Marcus Aurelius examines the fleeting nature of human achievements and the vanity of clinging to worldly things. Every personal success, every accolade, and every sorrow is rendered insignificant by the inexorable march of time. He challenges himself to remain detached from the transient, recognizing that the only lasting legacy lies in one's inner character and the virtues one embodies. This section is marked by a tone of resignation mixed with resolve. Aurelius reminds himself that life's brevity is a call to live with urgency and purpose. The impermanence of all things should not lead to despair, but should rather sharpen one's focus on what truly matters, the cultivation of wisdom and the adherence to a life of moral integrity. In a series of meditative passages, he suggests that every moment should be seized as a chance to realign one's actions with the greater good, even as the world around him fades into insignificance. Book 10, The Interconnectedness of All Things. In Book 10, the reflections expand outward to encompass the interconnectedness of the cosmos. Marcus Aurelius meditates on how every individual part of the universe is interwoven into a single, harmonious whole. This vision of a connected universe reinforces the Stoic idea that personal troubles are but small threads in a much larger tapestry. Aurelius ponders the nature of causality and the inevitability of events. By understanding that every occurrence is part of an intricate natural order, he cultivates an attitude of acceptance and tranquility. This cosmic perspective provides a robust framework for dealing with adversity. By seeing oneself as a part of the whole, one's individual misfortunes become less overwhelming. The emphasis is not on resignation, but on a dynamic engagement with life that is informed by the recognition of a grand, impersonal order. The meditation here is both a comfort and a challenge. It is comforting because it diminishes the significance of individual pain, and challenging because it calls for a radical reorientation of one's priorities, from the pursuit of personal gain to the maintenance of universal balance. In embracing the interconnectedness of all things, Marcus Aurelius models a way of living that is both humble and resolute. Book 11, Living in the Present Moment. Book 11 continues the exploration of temporality by focusing on the importance of the present. Marcus Aurelius insists that the past is beyond our control and the future uncertain, so the only reality is the now. This insistence on present moment awareness is a central tenet of his Stoic practice. Every decision, every thought, and every action should be grounded in the immediate experience of life. He warns against the dangers of regret and anxiety, emphasizing that these emotions only distract from the task of living rightly. Instead, Aurelius advocates for a mindful presence, an alertness to the fleeting nature of each moment, and an appreciation for its inherent value. He reflects that the present moment is a gift, one that must be embraced with a sense of urgency and gratitude. In doing so, he aligns with the broader Stoic teaching that wisdom is not found in ruminating over what has passed or in speculating about what might be, but in the full engagement with the reality at hand. Book 12, Final Reflections and the Enduring Call to Virtue. The final book of Meditations serves as a summation of the philosophical journey that has unfolded throughout the text. Here, Marcus Aurelius's tone is resolute and serene. He reaffirms his commitment to living in harmony with nature, to pursuing virtue for its own sake, and to accepting life's impermanence without fear or regret. Book 12 is marked by a clear and unyielding message that the measure of a life well lived is found not in external accomplishments, but in the steadfast cultivation of inner virtue. In these closing reflections, the emperor revisits many of the central themes: gratitude, the power of reason, the transient nature of life, and the interconnectedness of all things. He urges himself to persist in his efforts to be a moral exemplar and to use every moment as an opportunity to grow and contribute to the common good. The concluding passages serve as both a personal farewell and a universal call to embrace life with clarity, determination, and an unwavering sense of duty. Key themes and philosophical insights: the pursuit of virtue and moral integrity. At the heart of Meditations lies the belief that virtue is the only true good. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly emphasizes that external circumstances, wealth, power, reputation, are fleeting and ultimately irrelevant to the cultivation of a sound moral character. Instead, true fulfillment comes from the relentless pursuit of virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. In his reflections, he encourages the reader to view every obstacle as an opportunity to practice these virtues, asserting that even the most challenging circumstances can refine one's character if approached with the proper mindset. The nature of the mind and the power of reason. Another recurring insight in the work is the supreme value of the rational mind. Aurelius is deeply committed to the Stoic idea that reason is the tool by which we can shape our experience of the world. Our thoughts determine our emotional state, and by cultivating clarity and objectivity, we can free ourselves from the tyranny of passions. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, he writes, reminding us that the quality of our inner life is a reflection of the thoughts we entertain. In this way, Meditations is as much a manual of mental discipline as it is a work of philosophy. Impermanence and the acceptance of change. The transient nature of life is another central theme. Throughout the text, Aurelius meditates on the inevitability of change and the impermanence of all things. Every joy and every sorrow is temporary, and every person is but a brief moment in the endless continuum of time. This understanding is not meant to induce nihilism, but to inspire a deeper appreciation for the present moment and a more measured response to life's ups and downs. By internalizing the transient nature of all phenomena, one can learn to accept fate with equanimity and find freedom in the acceptance of what cannot be controlled. Duty, leadership, and the common good. As both a ruler and a philosopher, Marcus Aurelius was acutely aware of the demands of duty. Meditations is replete with reminders that personal well-being is inextricably linked to one's responsibilities to others. Whether it is the call to perform daily tasks or the higher duty of leading an empire, the text constantly reiterates that one must align individual actions with the needs of the community. This sense of duty is elevated to a near sacred level in Aurelius's thought, a guiding principle that underscores the importance of service, self-discipline, and the willingness to place the common good above personal gain. The cosmic order and the interconnectedness of all things. Aurelius's reflections are steeped in a profound sense of cosmic order. He perceives the universe as a vast, interconnected system in which every individual is a part. This vision of the cosmos reinforces the Stoic idea that personal trials are but minor disturbances in an otherwise harmonious whole. By recognizing one's place in this order, one can attain a measure of detachment from personal hardships and cultivate a broader perspective that embraces both the beauty and the impermanence of life. Living in the present and embracing the moment. A final, enduring insight of meditations is the imperative to live fully in the present. In a series of powerful meditations, Marcus Aurelius argues that the present moment is all we ever truly have. Past regrets and future anxieties are distractions that detract from our ability to engage with the here and now. By focusing on the present, one can achieve a state of mindfulness that is both liberating and profoundly satisfying. This emphasis on immediacy is a recurring call to recognize that every moment is an opportunity to practice virtue and to align one's life with the natural order. Conclusion, final reflections, and the enduring message. In its closing passages, Meditations leaves us with a message of enduring relevance, that the path to a fulfilling life lies not in external achievements or transient pleasures, but in the constant cultivation of an inner life, guided by reason, virtue, and acceptance. Marcus Aurelius's personal reflections, though born of the unique challenges of imperial rule, speak to universal human concerns: our struggles with self-doubt, the inevitability of loss, and the quest for meaning in an ever-changing world. The text's final message is both simple and profound. It is a call to live deliberately, to maintain humility, and to remember that every moment is a chance for growth and redemption. By embracing the impermanence of life, by focusing on the quality of our thoughts and actions, and by recognizing our integral role in the vast tapestry of existence, we can achieve a state of inner peace that transcends the chaos of the external world. Ultimately, Meditations is not just a relic of ancient wisdom, but a living, breathing guide for anyone seeking to navigate life's challenges with dignity and purpose. Its lessons, rooted in the timeless principles of Stoicism, invite us to question our assumptions, to re-examine our priorities, and to strive for a deeper, more meaningful existence. The work's enduring power lies in its insistence that while we cannot control the events of the world, we can always control how we respond, and in that choice lies the essence of a truly virtuous life.